What we are doing is we have set the home of this My App widget to this home page. This home page would be our first widget to come on this My App, and we'll just define it right now. So we created a stateless widget and we gave it the name homepage. It returns a container. Containers are like empty boxes that you can give certain properties. But what I'll do is I'll get rid of this container and instead I'll use a scaffold. So scaffold is again one of the common widgets and there are a lot of properties that you can define for it. So I can give it a app bar and I hope my code is visual. So I'll just zoom in a little bit. Yeah, so we have the homepage which is returning a scaffold and it takes in a app bar. Now if I just hot reload it, so what I did was I pressed on Control plus S. You can even go over here and do a hot reload. So what it does is this is the fast development that Flutter promises. As you write your code inside your IDE, you can see the changes happen quickly inside your emulator, or if you are working with web then you can see the changes on web. If you have a mobile phone connected, you can see the changes on your mobile phone right then and there. So this is like a big advantage. You are writing code and you can quickly see the changes that are happening. So I just add in an app bar. Another thing with Flutter is you can hover over the particular widget and you can get a list of all the available properties that you can tap into. So here you can see like we have another property called body that we can use of a scaffold. So I'll hit enter and just type in body. So it would show me like all the different available properties and I'll use body for it. This would also come with experience, as in after you develop a few applications, you would know like what all properties you can change. Or you can look it up, as in if you wanted to know how to give a certain widget a border, you can look up on Google like how to give it a border. So it will tell you all the properties that you can modify, or you can just go through the documentation, like hover over the widget and see all the properties available that you can modify. So I'll give it a body for now, which would be a column. Let's just go with the container first so that we are able to visualize what a container looks like. So I'll give it a container. Now, again, to know like what all different properties are, I can go over to this widget and try to see the list of properties available here. So right now my Android Studio has stopped working. Again, one of the things why you can use Visual Studio Code is because Android Studio is heavier on your CPU. Okay, so it's working fine now. We'll check out the other properties as well that we have in this container. One is a width, so I can give it some width. Width takes in a numerical value. So if I give it a width and a height, 100. And we can also change the color for our container. I can give it colors dot red. And now if I just hot reload it, it should show up on screen as this small box. And you will notice like it is pushed to the left hand side. That generally happens. So they are aligned to the left hand side because it would take as much space as it is available to this container, as in it is right now only using this part of the screen. So what I can do is right now we checked out like what a container looks like. There are a few other widgets that I want to take up for introduction, which are columns and rows. So what a column does is a column would arrange all the widgets horizontally. A column would arrange them vertically, whereas a row would arrange all these widgets horizontally. So I'll cut this code from here. I'll just type in column. And what column does is it takes in multiple children, as in since you have to arrange different widgets, so it would take multiple children. So I'll type in children and then I can specify the container that I initially had as one of its child. So I moved that container inside this column widget, and what I can do is I can define multiple containers inside it. So I just copied the code again and pasted it here. Now if I hot reload it, what should happen is these containers should show up on screen arranged vertically, as in they are one on top of the other. So if it's not visible, I can just simply change the color so that it's better visible. Yeah, so we have the red one here. This is our container, and we have the yellow container on it, and then the red container again. So this is like a simple way of arranging these different containers. Okay, and right now since they are on one on top of the other, what you can do is you can also use row, replace the column with row, and now these containers should align horizontally. So they are arranged horizontally right now. We have the red in the center, the yellow one. We have the red here, the yellow one in center, and then the red one again. So this is like the simple way of writing Flutter code. And one of the things that right now, see, it is like very much onto the screen. So how do you know like what is right now, since we are giving it some definite width, as in we are defining these height and width properties. So there is this class called media query class that you can tap into to get the height and width of the screen. So dot of context, dot size, dot height. Now this is one of the like advanced concepts, as in after you start developing you can use this to get how big your screen is and adjust the height of your container accordingly. So if I what happens is right now you would notice that all these containers got aligned to the center. Why? Because a container has these properties like where they take up the maximum space. So since this container was taking up the whole space, these two align to the center of this widget. So what you can do is you can accordingly also specify the width, but I'll have to get rid of the other containers because right now this width and height would completely fit the screen. So if I'll just try to do it now, it should get some error. This is the render overflow error because my one widget is taking up the whole space. So these other two cannot fit inside it. So I'll have to get rid of it to completely. Okay, it should be width here. Now this should take up like the whole space that is available to it. So these were the containers. We also saw like the column, as in how to arrange the widgets vertically, and row, how to arrange them horizontally. And we also want to see the properties of scaffold. Right now we are using the app bar. App bar is this top top bar that we have. Now it also has certain properties that you can tap into. Again, to know the properties, you can go over to the widget and you can check out the properties that you want to change, or you can simply type in title. And if you type in title, it would tell you like what it takes in a widget. So if I type in title, I need to give it the widget. So text is the widget that we use to put in text anywhere. So I'll just type in text and I'll put in the curly braces for any widget, and then I need to specify my string. So I'll type in app bar here, and now if I hot reload it, should come up on the screen, like the text that I type here should show up on the app bar on the screen. So this is the text widget. Now we would be using text widget to put in text anywhere inside our application. So this is one of the common widgets, again with rows and columns. And after you have specified the text, you there are some other properties that you can tap into. As in, if you want to center this title, so you can simply type in center title, and you will notice that center title takes in a boolean. So after I type in center title, I can give it a boolean as in true. Now this app bar text should come in the center of the screen. So what I want to show with this is first there are these four basic widgets that I wanted to show: app bar, a row, column, text, and the container widget. And then I wanted to show like how simple it is to write code. As in, you have all these properties. First of all, you have all these widgets that you can place one on top of the other, and then you have all these properties that you can define. As in, you can simply go over to a widget and check out all the available properties in it, or you can simply use like uh, you can go over to the app bar for documentation, or simply type it in and you'll get like all the different properties. Like if I wanted to change the background color, I can simply type in color and I'll get like background color, and give it some color as in colors dot yellow. So that should change the color. So this is how simple it is. So coming back to again the everything is a widget. We have all these different widgets that you can go through uh, to know like what all different widgets you have that you can modify. So Flutter has this in their documentation. So you can go over to flutter.dev and go to docs, and there they'll have the complete widgets catalog available right here. So these are some of the widgets that you can try out in Flutter. And then uh, we were talking about the stateless widget. Stateless widget is the one that doesn't have any state, so it isn't changed during the execution of the program. But what I can do is I can show a stateful widget right now. So we were using homepage as a stateless widget for now, but I'll just get rid of this here, and I'll type in class homepage. What I'll do is I'll create a stateful widget. So I'll type in htful. uh, I'm getting these options because I have the plugins installed. You can have the same on Visual Studio Code, and once you type all these in short, and you would get all the option. So you can type in stateful and it should write the code for you. So you just have to type in the name of the widget as in home page. Right now it is stateful, so you would notice that there is the class of homepage, and then there is a class called homepage state. So we can modify this state if required. So what I can do is scaffold and give it a body. So this body can have a elevated button, and what I can do is give this elevated button a child. It should be text that can say like a simple text called click me. So if I try to run it now, it should show a elevated button on screen with the text called click me. So it is right here. And right now you would notice that I am not able to click on it because it does not have a on pressed define for it. And also the app bar is gone. So if you need the app bar, you can simply create a empty app bar. and now it should come right here. What I'll do is I'll also center this button. So one of the things that you can do on Android Studio, and you can even do it in Visual Studio Code, you can check out the context action on Android Studio. You can click on a widget and click on Alt plus Enter, or you can simply go with your mouse and do a right click, show context actions, and you'll have like all these different properties available in it. Like you can wrap it with a widget if you want to put a widget around it, or if you want to center it, so you can wrap with center. So this should it should create center, it should wrap this elevated button that we have with the center widget. And now if I hot restart it, so it should come to the center of the screen right here. So that is one of the tricks that you can use to wrap widgets in Flutter. And other than that, once we have the click me button defined, what I'll do is I'll give it a on pressed property. So this on pressed, we'll use it to change the color of the background. So what I have right here is background. I can give it background. So what I should do is can I change it? I'll have to try it once. I can do is inside this homepage state, I can create a color equal to colors dot red. Now I can use this color here. Okay. And what I can do is when this button is pressed, I can change this colors dot green. So now what happened is I had my scaffold. I gave it a background color, which was a red. I defined this color and gave it as a property, background color property to my scaffold. Now I have my elevated button here, which has a on pressed in inside it. So if I click on it, nothing happens right now. What I'll have to do is, since it is a stateful widget, I can set state. So set state is a function that lets you change some properties. And now if I restart this application, it should change the background color, right? So what I'll do is I'll just refresh it once. Okay, so initially when we start out, this color was defined for this home page. Home page is a stateful widget again. So this background, this color was defined to be red for this widget, right? So then what happened is ki after this color was defined, we wanted to set this color as the background of our scaffold. So we just gave it as a property to this background color. But now during the execution of the application, let us say like you want to change or update some properties of this widget. So for that we need this set state. So what happens is, unless like if it would have been a stateless widget. So this was my stateless widget. If I wanted to change this color from, like right now it's brown, so if I wanted to change it to, let's say, pink, what I had to do was I had to destroy my old widget and recreate like a new stateless widget with the color pink. But what happens in a stateful widget is, initially this color was set to red, but you can update the state. That is, you can change this color to be green. So I have my elevated button, which is another widget that we will be using a lot inside our Flutter applications. It takes in two properties. One is on pressed. On pressed, you define like when you tap on the button, what action should occur. For that, we define the on pressed, and it has a child property. child as in ki we had the outer widget, what would come inside of it. So that is our child. We are using the text widget as the child. We'll give some text, like we have used the click me text right here. So this is the text that would come inside this button. And then we can define this on pressed. That is what would happen when the button is pressed. We have defined it to set state. So this set state function, uh, what it does is it changes the state of the widget. And what it will do is it will first uh, assign a green color to this color variable, and when set state occurs, this code will be checked again, and the properties, like wherever the color is defined, it would be changed to green. So that's what we are doing. So when we tap on this button, the color should update and change to green. So these are like the stateful widgets where you don't have to rebuild everything, and it would just show up on the screen when you update the state. Now we come to first, before we go into that laying widgets, there are some sample applications that you can check out. Flutter sample, like there are all these different applications. So chances are, like when you take up Flutter, you want to create some applications of your own. What you want to do is, like, let us say like this is the UI design, or this is the design provided to you, and you want to create an application where you have image on top, then you have some text here, then you have some buttons. So how this laying of widget is done? So basically, if you are a Flutter developer, you will have to first visualize like how all these, what these widgets are and how they are laid. So we have these image button, image widget on top, then we have this small text inside it, and then we have these buttons aligned. So again, if you have to like align these widgets, that is what I wanted to show with the column and column and the row part. So we had this center widget in the center, but what you can do is use a column if you want to align these widgets. And column takes in some children, so you have to first define children, then give it the container as its child, and also give it a width and some color. You can do by colors dot green. Yeah, so we can just copy and paste this, so we'll have it as red and then black. So these are like the different containers which are aligned vertically right now, and this can be done with the help of column. So in the same image, you can see like if you have to align everything vertically, as in first you'll have the image, then you'll have the text, then all these buttons. So what you will do is you will create a first outer column, and then inside this column you'll have first the image widget, and then you can have this row of text, as in these two would be in column and these two would be in a row. So that is how you like go ahead, and the background color is defined. So I'll just get rid of it. So right now we have all these widgets. I'll just increase the width and the height of these two widgets. So these widgets are bigger now. So what you can do is inside this column, you can have a row if you need it to be. So let's just get rid of the middle container. And what I'll do is I'll create a row, as in type row, and then row would again take in children. It wouldn't have a single child, but it will have multiple children. And you can put this inside it once and twice. So let us see now how it looks like. So what we have here is we had the column completely right here, and then we have these two in the middle. So there are certain properties that you can modify to adjust the alignment. As in for column, we have the main axis alignment property. You can use main axis alignment dot center. Or a column, since it is arranging vertically, the main axis is downwards. So instead we can, so what it does is, like, this is the whole screen width, so main axis for a column is vertically downwards, and there is this property, next property, called cross axis. So cross axis is vertically for a column, and if I'll do cross axis alignment, what it would do is dot center. It should bring these widgets to the center of the screen, but right now it's not working because a container takes up the maximum space. What you can do in such a situation is define an empty container which has which is the width of the complete screen. So right now what is happening is, like, this is the whole screen. These two widgets are being aligned in the center, both from the top, as in from the main axis, and both from the side, that is the side axis on the two sides. But this nothing is happening to this row widget because it has some properties of its own that you can define. For a row, as in if you are arranging widgets horizontally, the main axis is again horizontal, but the cross axis is vertical. So if you want to arrange this in the center, you can use the main axis alignment property and try to do it with that. Now it should come in the center of your screen. So this is like for the, this was for the row widget. The main axis alignment was horizontal, and you can use the main axis alignment property to arrange these widgets in the center of your screen. So there are a lot of such exercises that you can do to know, like, how, what all different properties are there in a widget that you can modify. And what I want to do is also, uh, so this was like the outside, but container also have a child property, so you can define a child for a container and give it some text, as in, let us say hello. So it should show up on the first container, that the red container that we have. So coming back to our design itself, we have the outer one as the column, because of which these, all these widgets are being aligned vertically. But inside you can even have a row. You can have a row inside a column if you want to align your, widgets inside it horizontally. So that is one thing that you can do. And there was this slide about business logic that was left. What I meant was, since Flutter is compatible for 6 different devices, what I'll do is I'll also connect my mobile device and try to run the same application on that. It should take some time. So I'll just connect my device. If you are developing in Flutter, you can even use emulators, but I like to run my application on a real device, because then my CPU doesn't use it doesn't get that much load. So you can run it on a real device, or you can set up an emulator using Android Studio. So if you have any questions so far, you can ask them. We are already 1 hour into the session. So if there is anything that you would like me to take up, so you can ask me. I'll just till then start up my emulator. And to run this application on my mobile device, I'll change my output device and again run the application. So it should take some time. For whenever you are running on Android, on an Android device, what it will do is it will build an APK and it would install that APK. But you can even see the live changes happen on your mobile device like we did. We were working with web so far. Everything that I was doing, it was happening here on a local host. This was for Flutter web, but these same changes these all these things would look similar on the mobile device. The only changes that would be there would be, in adjusting according to the width and the height of mobile screen, because on Flutter web these widgets can expand to, the full screen of the desktop. Size is really big, but on mobile device it would be limited, so we'll have to adjust our widgets accordingly. So again, to that point, the goal is not to, have the same application run on 6 different devices. What we save on here is business logic. So what do I mean by business logic? Initially when we were running this application, it had a increment button on its side. Like we had this small button that was used to increment the counter each time someone tapped on it. So the basic function, the function of this button would remain same for the 6 different platforms, as in it would be same for mobile application, it would be same for the web. But what you can do is you can modify UI or the user interface for the different platforms. So you can save money on writing the function. You can reuse these functions everywhere, but you can change and modify the user interface according to the different platforms that you want your application to run on. So it would mean like for startups or for companies, they would have to hire less developers to do most of this work, and instead they can, just have the same business logic for different platforms. And that is why, Flutter is better than other language, other cross platform. Like it is better than native because you can run it on different platforms itself. So running Gradle tasks should take some time. uh, it should take some time to run on the device. So what we see here is, this application is now running on the mobile device, and it is showing this error on the side, as in there is this render overflow error. Why? Because my phone screen width is really less, as in if since I'm specifying this width myself, so it is showing error because the available screen width is not as much. So what I'll do is I'll come back to the code. Yeah, I'll just come back to the code, and so I'll scroll down to where we had our row inside this o- hole. So we had this row, and there are 2 widgets in it with a width of 200. So they total up to 400, which is too much. So you can try to manually lower it down, as in keep the width to 100. Now if I hot restart matlab hot reload it, so it should lower the width, and now these two should fit inside the screen. So we'll just wait for it to refresh. Yeah, so right now they are both occupying like 200, so I'll just increase it so it's a little more broader. So yeah, we have it similar, but again, this is the thing that I wanted to highlight. The only changes that you have to do when moving from one platform, as in when moving from your Flutter web to your Flutter application on a real device, would be the changes in the UI. If I were to, write the same code to change the background color, it would remain same across platforms, the two platforms that we have, web or the Android platform that we have here. It would remain the same. And again, you don't have to, manually enter this width and all. There is this media query class that you can use. This is something I learned while working at an internship. I wasn't familiar with how to, get the screen size or how to make it responsive for different screens. After you'll get started with Flutter development, this would be one of the things that you have to focus on, making your apps responsive. Now this screen size could vary, so instead of just manually entering the width, you can use the media query class. Where does this manual entering width comes in? So if you need to use a container which has to have the specified width and height, you can use this property. But if you have to have a container that should fit all on the screen, then you can use media query to get the size of the screen. Try to fit widgets accordingly.